Hi, 'tis the season to be jolly, so I thought I'd talk about event restriction a bit. Um, so I can't remember when I thought of the term event restriction, but it was something that I noticed in myself when I had an eating disorder for years, and I didn't know what to call it. Of course, it was just restriction, but it felt like restriction with a specific purpose or restriction that was motivated by a specific event. And I think the reason that I thought about it was because it never worked. So I'd event restrict, and for me, usually, not always, usually event restriction would be restricting more now so that I can eat more later at a certain event or whatever was going on. And it was like I was creating an energy deficit buffer now so that then I would be able to feel like I could eat more later or whatever the event was. But it never worked. I never would eat more later. And I noticed this pattern, and I noticed it to the point I sort of found a term for it in my head. And yet I still didn't stop doing it, even though I knew it didn't work. It was like every time I thought it would work. And of course it never did. So for example, event restriction for me would be huge around Christmas time. So with the anticipation of wanting to eat more on Christmas Day, Christmas dinner, I would start event restricting probably beginning of January. And it wouldn't be that I was just restricting more food, eating less than usual in the lead up to Christmas. I would also be pushing myself to exercise more in the lead up to Christmas. So it meant December was just hell. I would dread December. I would dread Christmas because of the event restriction that I would make myself do leading up to it. So it's not just, people go on about Christmas Day and how that's hard for people with eating disorders, blah, 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 pressure to eat. But for me, all of December, because there's so much going on at Christmas that involves food. And so sure, I'd be event restricting with Christmas Day in mind, but also Christmas parties. There's food everywhere in December. Humans bond around food. That's why it annoyed the crap out of me when I had an eating disorder. I'd be like, why the fuck does there have to always be food at everything that we do? And now I'm like, I love it. Great that there's food at everything we do. Humans bond around food. Get over it. It's normal to eat in the company of others. It's normal to like to share things with food things with other people. Anyhow, it used to annoy the crap out of me when I had an eating disorder. And so I'd event restrict in general in December, anticipate eating more at Christmas parties, Christmas days, things like that. So that's kind of like large scale event restriction. And like I said, it doesn't work. So I would event restrict all of December. I would push myself to exercise more. I'd eat less than usual. And then guess what? Come Christmas Day, do you think I was like stuffing my face with abandon? No. I wasn't. I was still restricting. I'd eat this stupid, restricted, fucked up little Christmas dinner. Like, it was mostly vegetables and like a little bit, I'd get a little bit of turkey and I put it like on top of the vegetables. Like that's fucking fooling anybody, thinking that I've got lots of turkey under there where I've just got this tiny little sliver on top of the vegetables. And like, same with like, I put some potatoes on there, but mostly like I put a bit of potato on top of the vegetables so that people would think, oh, fuck's sake, no one's that stupid. Everybody knew. So, it didn't work from that respect. It didn't work in that I would feel like, oh, I can eat a ton of Christmas dinner. And it never did work like that. And that's why I never sort of seemed to, although I cottoned onto that, I still did it every year. So that would be like a big scale event restriction, something like that. But I do it on a small scale. So, say, for example, somebody's birthday party next week, I would probably start event restricting about a week before. I'd probably start exercising more, eating less in anticipation of potentially, I don't know, eating a fucking cupcake at someone's birthday party. Yeah. And then, of course, I wouldn't eat the fucking cupcake, would I? No, of course I wouldn't. Again, like the cycle that I sort of knew, but then it would be like, no, I might really want to eat about cupcakes or like birthday cakes, so I'm going to exercise more now. And then there was like even weirder, because I was so routined when I had an eating disorder. Every day was like Groundhog Day. And even the days that were different were like matching other days that were different. So I had a routine for the days that I was at work, and that was always at the same. But then the days that I was not at work also had a routine that was the same. So it was always the same routine, even in different situations. I'd worked out my routine. And if anything happened that would disrupt that routine, I'd event restrict. So it wouldn't necessarily even have to be something happening that would mean I'd anticipate eating more. I remember once like event restricting because I had to take the cat to the vet on a Friday afternoon, and I had to take time out of work in order to take the cat to the vet. And because I had such a horrible movement compulsion, my work always involved moving, waitressing or moving around, something like that. And so with the anticipation of I'm going to be sitting in the car, driving to the vets, and then I'm going to be sitting in a waiting room rather than running around waiting tables, I would event restrict for that. I know, fucked up. And then not only would I event restrict for that, but like I said, even then, it still wouldn't work. Because you know what I'd do? Sure, all right, I might have to drive to the vet. And then I'd stand in the waiting room, wouldn't I? Everyone else would be just sitting down with the cats on their laps or, cat box next to them. There's me, like, hovering by the door. There's plenty of empty seats. And every now and then, somebody walked past and they're like, oh, there's a seat up there. Do you want to sit down, love? And I'd be like, no, I'm fine. Prefer to stand, thanks. I didn't prefer to stand. I fucking hate standing. But no, I couldn't let myself sit because my brain, in my fucked up brain, that was cheating. And so even with the event restriction that I was doing specifically so I could sit in a waiting room, I then would not allow myself to sit in the actual waiting room. And that's an eating disorder for you, isn't it? Oh, God, I don't miss that. I don't miss any of it. Anyway, so event restriction shit. If you've got an eating disorder that's active, you're probably thinking about doing it already. You probably are already anxious about Christmas, aren't you? I know how that feels. And all I can say is stop it. Just stop it. You don't have to. You know you don't have to. You know that you can stop. It is a choice. And if you're not in recovery, get your ass in there. Because the sooner you get yourself into recovery, the sooner all this shit is over. And you'll get some semblance of life back. And you'll just be able to actually enjoy doing fun things, not dreading actual fun things because of the hoops that you have to jump through in order to participate in any of them. Or like a lot of us, you just don't participate because of the anticipated hoops that you would have to jump through in order to participate. You know what I mean there as well. Okay, bye.